Destination mark.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and welcome to yet another top 5 video. But this one's a little more special because I set up a poll for this one on Twitter some time ago. It was between this one and the weirdest celebrity cameos in games, so that I've personally experienced. But this one won out by quite a lot, actually. That other video, the other top 5 will come, actually. I didn't plan to just ditch one in favor of whichever one won the poll. It's just I wanted to know which one you guys wanted to see first. So we will get to that top 5 eventually, but this one is in fact the top 5, my top 5 favorite fighting game characters. And we do have some rules, so let's go over them. Basically only have 2 rules. The first one being 1 game per franchise, as per usual, and the second one being these characters have to originate from fighting games. So unfortunately that means no Smash Brothers characters, no TMNT Smash Up characters, and no characters from any other fighting games, be them good or, you know, abominations. But with that being said, these are in fact the top 5, my personal top 5 favorite fighting game characters. So that being said, let's get started. Number 5. Starting off pretty strong, number 5, we got Takeda from Mortal Kombat X. Now, I don't usually play, you know, I've already told you this story before, I don't really play Mortal Kombat X that often, I don't even own it. Weston does, so I usually play at his place. When we're not filming Trash Talk over there, or not filming just other videos over there, so, I found, just by testing out all the characters, both obviously, you know, old and new, Takeda I kind of resonated with because I just liked his playstyle, mainly his, Ronin variation, so, I don't know, with the whips and with the whole, like, surprise you can bring with him. So, like, I was always catching Weston off guard with Takeda's X-Ray because I never really tried to let him know when I was going to do it. If you play against Wes ever at any point in time, or just if you were to play Wes at Mortal Kombat X, and you can really get into the mind of when he's going to, that's at least what I did. I was able to get into his mind of when he was going to use, like, his X-rays and whenever. Even though not all the time I could combat against it or block those attacks or anything, because he is really good. But I'm able to, like, you know, I've been playing fighting games for a long time, so I mean, I'm able to adapt pretty quickly. So even around my first couple times playing MKX, like, I was pretty okay at it. You know, I'm not a newbie to Mortal Kombat. I'm certainly not, you know, a newbie to, you know, to fighting games. So I handled my own pretty well, and Takeda just was a more well-rounded fighter for me, at least in terms of the newcomers. And the other variations, of course, I tried, and I didn't really care too much for because, I don't know, it seemed like he was just more well-rounded. It looks like they put more thought and, like, you know, cleverness into his Ronin variation, which is just the one that I found works for me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe, you know, people find that his other variations, you know, they feel like that they have more work put into them, or just, I guess it all boils down to functionality, how you function with each variation, and for me it just happens to be Ronin, so I don't know, he's pretty cool. The other thing I like about Takeda is that he is a descendant, you know, from, you know, what they like to do for some reason, like Soul Calibur 4 does this, and, you know, not so much as Tekken, but other fighting games now, like with their plots and all that, like, oh, the old characters are, we have to get some new characters in here, why not make them descendants of old characters? And sometimes that can be a little iffy. It kind of goes with the whole, like, new casts kind of thing. I mentioned that. That's a discussion video I made some time ago, so link down below to that. But with MKX, it's not like it's descendants completely taking over, you know, the roster. They have a whole bunch of returning characters. It's just that for some of the newcomers, a lot of them are, you know, Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, you know, and them two specifically. Oh, and I want to say it was Kung Jin, I think is a descendant of someone. I think he was a descendant of Kung Lao or someone like that. Those 3 characters, you only know Cassie Cage as the daughter of freaking Sonya and Johnny Cage, and Jackie is pretty much just the daughter of Jackson. That's it, because they're so close to their parents in look and fighting style that, like, there's not a whole lot of individuality there. They're pretty much just, not to say they're carbon copies, because they're not, it's just that I don't find them interesting, like, at all, as characters, you know, let alone wanting to play as them and feeling them out, because I have played as them and I don't really care too much for them. I think out of those other 3, I think I can I did okay with Kung Jin, and Jackie's okay, but see, they're all just kind of okay. But Takeda being... Okay, so if I get this right, Weston will correct me, I know that, and you guys probably will too. Takeda, I haven't played the game in a while. Takeda is the apprentice of Scorpion, but he's the descendant of... I don't think it's Liu Kang, I think it's someone else. I don't remember who it was. Maybe he's from Kung Lao, I don't remember. But he's a descendant of someone, but he's not treated as such. He feels like his own character. He has individuality, so that's why he's on this list. On my top 5. If I had a top 10, you know, now in terms of the game it's from, you know, since I'm not the hugest fan of MKX, I'm okay, you know, with it. If there were a top 10, he probably would have been lower. So like he's getting the lowest tier of the top 5 for pretty much that reason. It's MKX, it's whatever, you know, it's an okay game, but it's not really great. And Takeda though, as a newcomer, as a descendant character, he's really cool. So that's why he's at number 5. Number 4. So for number 4, I was going to put Big Ben from Skullgirls, because I used to kick Weston's ass a lot. He's gonna get pissed at me now, but I used to kick his ass a lot with that character whenever we would play that game. But actually, for reasons I'll be explaining right now, it's actually Valentine, because she's more well-rounded as a character, and she's much swifter than Big Ben is. And even though Big Ben's combos really do hurt, and they can do a lot of damage if you string them correctly, Valentine you can get away with a lot more, and she's more like creative with the presentation, with some of her moves and all that. You know, with her theme being a nurse. You know, it's really cool. It's really creative, and it's really funny. With Big Ben, it's also kind of funny just because, you know, he's got like a bunch of instruments he can attack with and all that stuff, and you don't even really know who or what he is because he's a big ass hulking figure drenched in a trench coat. So I mean, you can't really, and a detective's, you know, hat, or at least that's what I call it. I don't know, but you can't really tell who he is or, you know, what he's supposed to be, essentially. But with Valentine, she's swifter, she's just cooler. I like her combos. So I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about, you know, her in this game because I haven't really played much of this game. You know, again, it's the same thing as Mortal Kombat X, where I usually play this game at Wes's house. So eventually I want to get the game because it is really cool. I like the art style. The art style is awesome, and just the way everyone moves is cool, and just the animation is great. You know, I want to be an animator. I'm really into animation, so to see this 2D game flow so well, you know, and it's pretty much hand drawn and all that, it looks really cool. And I can't go too long with her the way I did with Takeda from the last part. So I mean, all that's left is to make this joke.
Hello, this.
Number 3. This one's getting shorter than I expected. Number 3 is from Bloody Roar. I didn't know who to choose because I haven't played much of it, but this is one that I do own, and my brother and I would play this a lot. We would usually fuck around as Alice because it's just really funny to watch her run cycle in the first game. So from the first Bloody Roar, I guess Alice because she's just really funny. Also, we've got the, you know, obvious Alice in Wonderland reference with the fact that she turns into a rabbit. That's her animal. So I really want to see, like, I want to play the other games. I've seen snippets of the other games and how those characters from the first game have kind of evolved, you know, no pun intended, as characters, you know, in the other games with their moves and such. And like any fighting game, you want to change up their appearances and their abilities. So I do want to see how Alice plays in the other ones. And I don't even know if they keep her for the entire series or not. I'm pretty sure she's in the sequel. There's not a whole lot to say. She's just, I don't know. I think she has like a ring out move that like throws you up in the air or something. But again, just how she feels to control is pretty okay. You know, for this game being a PS1 game back when I had, excuse me, Tekken and all that. Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 were really well-rounded fighters. Like, they felt really good to control the characters, and everything was pretty fluid. Bloody Roar was a little bit different. It did feel a little slower paced in general, but you know, Alice is one of the faster characters. So again, it's really about speed. I like speedy characters, and I like characters that are, you know, trickster characters, and you'll be seeing that later. So she's kind of, you know, the best of both worlds. And we have other characters too that are, you know, the more stronger ones, and I can't remember his name. I think it's Gato or Gato, however you pronounce it. He's got like the beard and the top hat. He was pretty weird, you know, as a character. This game has oddball characters, like really oddball characters. But Alice seems to be one of the most regular of them, and I don't know. It's really creative how like they tied everything together and with that reference and all that. So that's why she's at number 3. Number 2. So speaking of oddball characters, number 2 is Voldo from Soul Calibur, and where do I begin with him? He's so fun. Talk about oddball characters. He's so freaking weird. Down to his appearance, down to which it changes pretty much in every game. I don't know. He's very, very. What? Even the storyline, his storyline, which I haven't played the first Soul Calibur. I don't own it yet. I do have a Dreamcast, but I've been meaning to get the first Soul Calibur. I'm pretty sure he's in there. I'm pretty sure he even stretches as far back as Soul Blade and Soul Edge from the earlier days before Soul Calibur. I'm pretty sure he's in that game. But like, he's kind of like a noble kind of a guy, even though he looks like he's not. He looks like some kind of villainous dude. But he combats a lot of the actual villainous type of characters in the series. And besides that, he's always like trying to repay, I think, debts and stuff to people and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't really remember his entire storyline. He's just, number one, because I have played like I grew up with 2. That was my first one for Soul Calibur. He's in 3, he's in 4, he's in 5. So I mean, he's a mainstay character. It's just that his story I haven't played too much of. Only really like in 2 and I think 4. He's just weird. He's just weird. His, it goes without saying that his fighting style, whatever it may be labeled under, is obviously unique, and no literal other character moves like him. So I mean, talk about originality, talk about individuality, talk about freaking, I don't know. It's talk about weird. He's really, really weird, but he's really cool because of that fact, the fact that he's unique and all that. So. He doesn't talk, he like hisses and shit, and he's always wearing masks or whatever. He's got his little blade, claw, that's what he uses to attack primarily, and he's just so freaking flexible because of like when he goes over like that, he's like on his hands and feet, but like it's weird. I don't even know how to describe it. You just look up videos of him. Someone made. I'll put this in the link if it's still here and if it's still around, if I can find it. Someone made a video of 2 Voldos dancing with their moves. It's called Dance Voldo Dance. It's hilarious. If I can still find that, if it's still around on YouTube, I'll link that down below so you guys can watch it. It's funny, but it's weird. Look up how he plays and how he moves in the games, and if you have Soul Calibur, give him a try if you haven't, because he's really cool and he's just really, really weird. That's the one thing, if we can take anything from this number, for this list, it's that Voldo is fucking weird. So that being said, that's why he's at number 2. And my number 1 favorite fighting game character is... Okay, number 1 is Yoshimitsu from Tekken, because, kind of like Voldo, he's just really weird, and he's badass is the main thing. Now, he's a character that's, both in Tekken and Soul Calibur, but I definitely prefer the Tekken version of Yoshimitsu over the Soul Calibur version, because the Soul Calibur version, number 1, is not the same Yoshimitsu as the one in Tekken, and 2, they make him, he speaks English in the Soul Calibur series, but he's such a screwball. His voice, I guess it fits kind of, for the version that they're going for, but he's goofy and just like weird. He's pretty badass, but he's goofy. Not so much in Tekken. In Tekken, he's pretty badass. Now, he starts off pretty standard, very much, link down below to this guy I was watching, I forget the name of his channel, but his little 2-parter series on what the hell is Yoshimitsu is really funny. I found it very, very recently, and it's pretty funny. A good watch, so, if you want to learn more about the character, there you go. He starts off pretty, normal, and his outfits are pretty okay because like Voldo, he switches outfits. He has vastly different outfits in every single installment of both Tekken and Soul Calibur. Even though in Soul Calibur he always has a similar motif, which is pretty much samurai, the design of the masks of his samurai outfit change within every game. In Tekken, he's more of like a Japanese warrior, so like, you know, every so often he has samurai parts to him, you know, but it's vastly different every time. Tekken 4 has him in like some weird beetle looking with wings, and he can actually fly with that. It's in his, spoilers, it's in his ending in Tekken 4. He flies with that, with the wings, and I thought that was just there for decoration. No, he can fly with them. Makes me wish they'd put that into his moveset for that game. It would be really cool. He starts off pretty okay, you know, so with that being said, he starts off pretty okay in Tekkens 1, 2, and 3. His voice sounds very human, and I'll tell you why I said that. I'm mentioning that in a moment. His design, his costumes are pretty standard, not too like clusterfucky, you know, all crazy and everything. But starting with Tekken 4, they gave him a bit of an overhaul, so now he has this robotic kind of a voice, and it has like a bunch of filters to it. It sounds really badass, and that's when he started getting a little more outlandish with his costumes. I actually like his Player 2 costume in Tekken 4. That probably is one of my favorite. Sorry, I'm talking about designs and shit. Like, this is mainly Weston's domain. Like, if you really listen to him, like he said it on Trash Talk before, he really likes character customizations and character designs, and he loves all characters in fighting games as much as I do. I don't talk about it a whole lot, but with Yoshimitsu, I love talking about it because he is so out there and crazy, and like, he's badass because of his moveset. Again, like Valdo, no one moves like Yoshimitsu. In Tekken, he's the only one with a sword, and then he gets 2 swords by Tekken, like I think 6. So, you know, double the badassery, I guess. And for the longest time, I don't have it anymore because it's now it's crashed. But my lock screen for my iPod used to be Yoshimitsu's new design in Tekken 7, which is more of some weird as I like to call him, Squidmitsu. So, there's been so many Splatoon jokes with that. It's actually pretty hilarious. But he's cool. I love his moveset. He's a crazy, weird character. He's unique. He's original. No one is like him in Tekken. People have, you know, everyone has a weapon in Soul Calibur, so I mean, still no one moves like Yoshimitsu in Soul Calibur. But I grew up with Yoshimitsu from Tekken. You know, that's where he originated for the most part. So, he's just badass. The one thing I can say, the one thing that kind of bothered me was the fact that it was still the same voice actor ever since Tekken 4. I'm not sure if that guy has voiced Yoshimitsu all throughout the Tekken series. I forget his name, it'll be right here. But starting with Tekken 4, it was this particular voice actor onward, and they put the effects to his voice and all that, and they sounded a certain way from Tekken 4 and 5, and it was really badass. Starting with Tekken 6, they pitched the low-pitch, you know, effects. They pitched it up a bit, and you can barely hear Yoshimitsu talk anymore. He still says his Japanese, you know, he still speaks Japanese, and he still says, you know, most of the same lines he usually does, but you can barely hear him anymore. He speaks so either low, so that's either the voice actor's fault, or it's the effects that cloud his voice, or not so much as muffle it, but you just can't hear it over the music and over the effects, the sound effects that are going on and all that. You can't really hear his voice, which really sucks, because where he just made normal human-sounding, regular man grunting sound effects from Tekken 1, 2, 3, and the first Tekken tag game, 4 and onward had a more robotic, you know, weird, creepy voice, but it's not so much as creepy. Some people can find it creepy, but I'm just saying that I think it's okay. I think it's really badass, but I'm going too far off. He's my favorite character, hands down. You know, I'm really good with him. I'm not like the best with him. I'm not like in tournaments or shit with him, but I like him a lot. I'm really good with him. So yeah, badass costumes, badass character, badass voice. His storyline is really cool. You would think, like Valdo, he is one of the more villainy kind of guys, villainous type of guys of characters, but he's not. He's actually the complete opposite. You know, everyone, you know, they always paint him as the Robin Hood character, who, you know, quite literally, you know, he gives to the poor and steals from the rich. And there's so much shit with like his blood. That's why he has 2 blades, starting with Tekken 6, because one of them, his main one's like cursed, and like I remember much more of his story than I do of Valdo's. And again, it's mainly the Tekken storyline for Yoshimitsu. There's a whole lot of shit that happens with him, you know. So yeah, Yoshimitsu's badass. That's why he's at number 1. And there you have it, my top 5 fighting game characters, right there. Have you guys played these games? Do you guys enjoy these games if you have played them? And do you like these characters? So let me know. in the comments down below. There's really not much to say besides that. So also though, stay tuned for the next top 5 video that will be in fact on the weirdest celebrity cameos in games. That one, like I said before in the beginning of the video, I was never going to abandon whichever one didn't win the poll. I just wanted to find out which one you guys wanted to see first. So this one won out. So with that being said, yeah, stay tuned for that top 5 video. I'm Marcelo. I'll see you guys later, and take care.